What if we step on people's toes and make them feel uncomfortable? Hello and welcome. And today's video is gonna be about being a creator and being creative. Okay. So I don't know your perspective, but in my perspective, I think that we are created in the image of God, not physically. We do not look like God. Frankly, in my mind, God is an energy that is permeating through all of us. We are made up of energy particles that are God. And this is a little woo. You kind of signed up for it with me. So, we have the creative juices of God. We are powerful creators, is what I'm trying to say. Right? And the whole idea of creation is just creating just to create, right? Now God, God just creates. God doesn't really care about what toes have been stepped on. God just creates. We don't even know what God creates, but God creates constantly, right? And so when we create, and we create because we love creating things. And so if we step on people's toes, it's not necessarily wanted or unwanted. It's just that it's the thing that happens. We step on people's toes. So sue me, right? So if we start from that perspective, that everything that has been created because the love of creating something, we then forget that we were never then we remember that we were never part of the equation, which means that the person might not have created that to offend us, right? I'm sure other creatives do this. I mean, earlier this week, JT Fox, one of my coaches, was talking about this specifically, which he creates content all the time, especially for his JT Fox 365 program. He created a video every single day talking about his experience as a businessman. And on some days, he stepped on people's toes. But it is what it is. It's just his perspective. And his perspective is one perspective. It doesn't engulf all perspectives. And so he doesn't really care about other people's perspectives. He's just thinking and talking about his own. And if other people get offended because of that, that's not his problem. But as a creative, we need to sometimes think outside our bubble, which is what hampers our creativity, so that's the balance that every creator has to walk on, right? Creator, let it be politician, whatever. It's just usually when people say things, it's in the spur of the moment, and they don't necessarily think of the repercussions of what they just said. I can attest to that. I've many times said things that are very contradictory in my videos and that have stepped on people's toes, I'm pretty sure. But at some point, you need to remember that it is another person's creation and that you need to take yourself out of the equation and just remember that that person might not have been thinking about you. And that's exactly what JT was talking about when he mentioned in one of the classes that he spoke about something in a video and someone took it the wrong way and thought that he was talking specifically about them, but it was never specifically about them. He was talking about his experience and how it affected him. But some people have a tendency of putting themselves in this situation even if they have nothing to do with it. So that's why I tend to ask questions. I tend to wonder why certain things are happening. And, my parents always taught me to ask questions, okay? To clarify. And especially because I have a very fervent imagination and a fervent intuition. So, but the thing with your intuition, okay, and is if you do not fully understand it, okay, like if you don't fully understand what everything means, sometimes you'll what okay, so what I'm meant to say is if you don't fully understand what everything means, and you have to what you need to understand is that your intuition is solely responsible of talking to you in your in a way that you will comprehend. So sometimes it'll do that, but then you have to like let's just say, okay, a feeling. If like I am clairsentient, so I get feelings, but the way I feel feelings and the way I translate feelings within myself are not the same way other people translate feelings within themselves. So the thing is, the key component here is that I pick up on other people's emotions, but other people's emotions, how they live it in their body, has a completely different meaning to them than to me. Like, for example, okay, my coach, Christopher Dedean, okay, has this thing where for him, if he feels anxiety, for him, that's just a sign of him being excited about something, which is true because anxiety and excitement are two different polarities of the same energy, right? So one's seen negatively and the other seen positively. So he sees it like, okay, so I'm feeling anxiety. That definitely means that I am feeling excited about something, but what I've experienced is that this is an excitement that I do not yet fully comprehend on how I'm going to get on top of it. So he's basically, what he is doing, all right, is that he is taking the anxiety and making it, like taking it to the wanted, living the wanted reality that is the opposite end of it, which is him feeling comfortable with that anxiety, which means he doesn't know how he's gonna he's gonna get comfortable. He has no idea how it is going to happen, but in his mind, not that in his mind, but in reality, if you already think that, okay, so if I'm anxious right now, that means automatically that I am going to feel not anxious, that I'm going to feel excited at the end of this anxiety, right? On the other spectrum of it. So instead of feeling anxious now and feeling the anxiety now, let me already feel the excitement now, and the the other cooperative components will come into the reality that I am living. So I will stop feeling anxious and I will feel excited. I hope that makes sense. If not, ask questions and it'll be my pleasure to answer. Okay? So basically, what you feel, what other people feel, and what you pick up on, or what I pick up on for other people, I need to put myself in their frame of mind and then translate it from their frame of mind. So at some point, I was feeling extremely anxious, but that's because of something that someone else was living. And I have to remember that what I'm picking up on is what they're currently going through, not what I go through in regards to what that is. So I might feel their emotion. I might not understand what their emotion is about, but what I'm saying is that even though I might not understand, so instead of it, I need to make sure to clarify whose energy I'm picking up on, number one. And then number two is I need to think of who they are, what their frame of mind is, so that I can then put myself in their shoes. At this point, it's basically becoming the character that you are picking up on. And when you've picked up on their energy, or when you have put yourself into their state of mind, into their energy, you then have to think like they would think, act like they would act, and then experience the emotion that they are feeling currently like they would experience it. So you would have to put yourself in their reality. I hope that makes sense yet again. If not, ask questions. It'll be my pleasure to answer. Okay? So Now, whose energy have you picked up on? That confirmation with the bag falling. Whose energy have you picked up on that you have not fully comprehended? So let me know and follow me on Facebook and Instagram for more content, okay? Yes.